Hello and welcome to another episode of Most Def, which is a shortened version of Mosimba's definition. And on here, I hope to inspire reverence on sacred topics that have become popular and some unpopular. So my point here is to share my ideas and my opinions and hopefully connect with others who share similar or opposing views and expand my capacity. So today I'd like to shed some light on my ideas when it comes to marriage, which is a very sensitive topic in our day to day. So there are very many ideals surrounding marriage, and for me as a 32-year-old single mom of one who's still unmarried, I may not speak for the married women, but I don't have the experience. I'll share my experience as a single mom and based on the experiences I've observed from others who are married around and within my life. Yes, so marriage is a topic that doesn't really sit well with me. It's together with religion. I don't believe that the current ideals are all there is and that's the only route that one should follow or should hold on to because I think because of knowledge we've learned too much of what is out there in the world, was there before and is to come. So I think we're at a point in life where every decision we make should be advised more solely from the spirit that we are instead of the general experience of the collective. Because I don't believe that marriage as is or as we came to find it was or is the way it should be, or that there should even be anything like marriage to begin with. It's very complex even in my head to put these thoughts together, but while yes, I agree that it's natural and it's the right way for a man and a woman to come together and create a child, an offspring. And my point is, marriage to me is a partnership, and it should not really be based on or solely be based on love and material goals, because I think, yes, you might bond with someone and create a very successful marriage because you love them and because you want to succeed with them and they're succeeding in the ways that are relevant to you as well. But I think we tend to overlook the spiritual aspect of it, that you're not just marrying one person, or rather it's not just the marriage between you and this one person on this playing field, that there's a marriage spiritually happening between you and between your ancestors. Both your ancestors, the male and female ancestors, are coming together and agreeing to work together and move forward. So while we do focus a lot on religious being correct or being righteous religiously, that which is something that has been shared by people, that men who've been going to church have been at one point in their life found themselves in a corner where they're pushed and encouraged by the religious leader of their community or their institution to get married, and they even go a step further as to help them locate or identify the ideal wife for them. But as many men have come later to share, it just didn't turn out to the best, to be their best, and or their own choice or anything they would have decided to do, they just did it out of pressure from a religious community or their family or their job, just any other reason other than the sole reason being wanting to create a kingdom, an empire with another, and to see to the successful, existence over generations of this empire. And for me, I would say I'm very happy to be unmarried at this time because, well, there was a time in my life that was all I lived for. I wanted to date, to marry, and all that. And while I did come close to it, I'm happy that I chose not to. I chose myself at the end of the day because I just realized that as the closer I got to it, I realized that it was never going to fulfill who I am as a person. It was never going to be for the benefit of who I am as a person because I was paired up with the wrong person. I'd paired myself up with the wrong person. So that was entirely my fault. And yeah, now I'm a single mom. But I'd rather be a single mom than the alternative where I would be married to this guy that I would eventually feel nothing for, and the house would there would just be this feeling or this tension, this air of animosity around our family. Like, I don't know. Or the alternative would be he'd be over controlling and domineering over me, and or vice versa, and it would just be a terrible dynamic to live in. So I'm just happy that I didn't give in to pressures of getting married or, finding a husband, because the truth is, I needed to find myself first. And as I'd rather the fact that I'm doing it now without a party or a partner in my life, because then I would just drag them down with my issues and they'd drag me down with their issues. But now it's more about protecting my son from this side of me as much as I can, but also working very hard to ensure that I learn myself and help him get the right way to learn himself, love himself, and place himself in the world so that he doesn't get destabilized later and be like, oh, he doesn't know who he is or where he is, what he's supposed to be doing. So that's my job. And for women, I feel that when I observe the women who were my friends previously, when we were just single ladies or just girls without, not mothers, when we were just girls out there trying to make sense of our lives and put two and two together, when now I look at those same girls who are my friends who are now moms and some of them wives, I just honestly, I don't envy them. I really don't. Like, I might envy the fact that they have a person in their life, but for me, it's not about having a person in your life. It's about the quality of the person you have in your life. Because if all I wanted to do was say I have a husband and attend all events with my husband or with my ring on my finger and feel like I've achieved everything in the world, I would feel stifled if I was in a union where my husband didn't hear me, didn't understand me, didn't consider what was best for me, and didn't work together with me to achieve things that I thought mattered, or didn't even take the time to consider my opinion and just decided to go ahead and make big decisions without informing or consulting me. And as a woman who has these strong opinions, I'm also very submissive to men, I believe, and it's a role that I'm very conscious of, and I wouldn't be the kind of person to overstep or disrespect, but it's just putting the point across that, hey, I matter too, I'm right here, it's our journey, it's not yours, and this is our family. ours, our kingdom. So you just cannot decide everything, and you can't just do it without concern for my opinion in the matter, because I have to run this ship with you. I have to go along with you. I have to be aware of what's happening and how it's supposed to happen. So I feel like the marriages today just promote the woman being uh, subservient to her man and just totally give everything up to him. And in doing that, she gives up a lot of who she is herself, because it gets to a point where even if she wants to do something and maybe the man wants to try and support her, she may get to a point where maybe he's feeling uncomfortable with, threatened by, where she has maybe to go for these big meetings and she has to meet male clients. It becomes kind of icky for the husband to allow these kinds of interactions to go on, and it just brings to question, like, do men trust their women? Do you like, why is it so hard to allow your woman to go out there and make her mark in the world, and in doing so make all of you proud, your kids, the whole entire community you come from, they'll be proud of you. So why don't you trust the women enough to follow their dreams, and to enough to know that even if she follows her dreams, she'll still maintain the dream that both of you have, and will do everything she possibly can to ensure that that dream is attained and protected and progressing, successfully. So these are just some of the issues that I have with marriage, and I'm not worried. Like, I'll either get married or not. It's not a big deal for me. While yes, I'd want my son to have a positive father figure in his life, you see, that's what I care for. It's about him having a positive father figure, right? It's not really about me mating and being with another man just so that I don't feel alone, lonely, anything like that, of which admittedly I've made such mistake in my recent past, but it was just all a learning curve, because it was a totally new situation I had never thought would happen, and I didn't know how to deal with it, and I eventually dealt with it and got out of it, and I'm wiser for it. So I understand now that it's not about me just linking up with a male and just deciding that we're going to create this life together. It's not just rainbows and butterflies. We have to get down to the nitty-gritty. He has to be just the right kind of man who is, pure enough in soul and spirit that he can actually take up another human and love that other human as if, because their life will depend on them, right? Because otherwise it's not gonna work, right? So it's very sensitive, the point that I'm in right now, in terms of even thinking about marriage, but I'm not even concerned with that right now. I'm just concerned about the situation around me currently and what I'm seeing going on, and like the options are so few and limited, and like it's a bottleneck. Like, are you going to do it or not? And for me, I'd rather not, because it's just going to pile on new kind of stress for me that I don't feel I need to deal with, because it just takes a lot for it takes a very strong man to be able, a strong man and also an intuitive man, one who's in touch with his spiritual side, who's in touch with God, and who really is able to listen to the instruction or the voice of God, because otherwise, you know, he's not going to be able to understand the love that I need. He's not going to be able to love me right. He won't be able to love my son right, or raise him up the right way. And that's a huge responsibility. You just can't give it to anyone just because they're attractive or they have a car, they have their things together, and that's the qualification. it's more than that. Here is where character and personality really come in, and yeah, just energy, just everything about this human matters. So marriage is something that I feel we are also getting really quickly in and out of. It's just become transactional, just like sex, and it's just so disappointing to watch it happen. I feel so sad for the kids because they're just growing up in a, you know, weird time in life. Because as much as we're trying to portray a happy life online, maybe with these happy family photos, but psychology also teaches us that, you know, if you are really having a good life, if your life is really good, then you feel no need to spread it on social media and like try and emphasize. And we understand the one-off pictures, like, oh, it was a really special day. Yeah, but if it's like every day, it's like you're trying to convince us, and it's not us, you're convincing yourself that life is good, that it's the way it's supposed to be, you know. And it's just insane. It's just crazy how much we are publicizing our secret, our private relationships. Now, I know who's married to who, like they had an affair with who. Like, it's just too much. Like, there's just no privacy anymore, and there's no integrity, discretion. Like, all of that has gone out the window, and we'll still sit around and ask, like, where is the love? Like, what happened? What's happening? But we are just creating. We are part of the problem with our every choice, and we just need to do better. That's just it. um, Marriages don't need to follow a manual, because every marriage is different. Every single personality in the marriage is different. These are two individuals who've come together to try and create a united front, you know, that is meant to last for ages, that their kids can rely on, that their children's children can rely on. I think we just take it so lightly, and we really don't take the time to consider who we really are in these experiences. I feel like we let life happen to us instead of happening for us, you know, because we should be the ones creating it actively. But instead, we are passively conforming to what is expected, and we don't stop to consider, like, our tomorrow. Now, with all these divorces that are around, all these baby mamas and deadbeat dads, all these situations, are we not concerned at all about the society our children will live in? Like, it just seems so unfortunate to be living in these times. And I just feel that as the adults, we need to do better, and we need to choose better. We need to be very, very conscious of the decisions that we are making, and how we are choosing to live our lives and to move forward, and the kind of systems that we are leaving behind for our children. Like, yeah, it's just so unfortunate how the marriage system is right now, and I really wouldn't even want to be part of it. I don't want to. Yeah, I'd rather remain single. And I have also very different views about how the husband and the wife are living. I believe they should live separately. Yeah, I believe that there should be space between them, good enough space. Like, if it's a big mansion, it's fine, but yeah, they should just have separate sleeping quarters. Like, yeah, there shouldn't be all that, like, interaction. Like, yeah, some things need to have their limit. You can't spend 24 hours a day together. I think it's just unrealistic. But at the end of the day, every kingdom is different, and just depends with how you set yourself or set yours to operate. But it's very important to have a partner who shares your goals, your dreams, and who's very willing and ready and appreciative of the fact that you're a whole individual, and they need to work with you and work hard to work with you to achieve your goals, your dreams, and your life purpose, because that's really the only reason we are here. And marriage should help us, you know, work easier towards achieving that, not slow us down or cut us off from our life's purpose or mission. So, to all those who are doing marriage right and it's working for you, like kudos, like we're looking forward, I'm looking forward to such a union. And to those who are just mismatched and just together for the sake of, external validation and just a tick from the society that you're living right, I don't think that's the way to go. And it's just creating more damage to our kids, it's just creating more trauma. So it doesn't make sense, and someone should put a stop to it. One of you should put a stop to it, and that's just it. Yeah, and from me, that's all for today. Thank you guys for listening, and yeah, catch you on the next one.